Welcome back to Minecraft, and I just knocked my mouse. That was an excellent start. But anyway, and with me I have Mallinka and Demon Reaper, as per usual. Hello.
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 Hello, cool. So to begin this episode, I'm going to kind of finish off what we were doing last episode with the tools. So Mallinka's going to be doing something in the background for us, which will be added to the tools later. But I'm going to get started with the stuff for our tools, and I'm going to start off with the handles and the guards and that kind of thing for the tools that we're making. So we'll start off with the stuff for the pick. The pickaxe, I'm going to have a paper binding. Paper bindings basically allow us to have an additional modifier. So that's the first one. Then we're going to use a basic tool rod pattern here and add netherrack to it to get a netherrack tool rod. That gives us stone bound and is fairly durable. It's quite a nice one to use. So netherrack and the paper binding, that's our handle stuff for our pickaxe. Next we are going to want a hammer, and the hammer requires a tough tool rod pattern, which I believe is in here already. Yep, that's good. And a stencil I don't have yet is the large plates. So I'm just going to scroll through here until the large plates come up, which is this one. So I'm going to grab this large plate and place it in here. And I'm actually going to use paper again to add modifiers. Now we actually, for a hammer, requires two large plates, so I'm going to make them both out of paper, which will mean that we'll end up with, why is that not? Let's try to put that in there again. There we go. So then we've got, so we end up with two additional modifiers from the paper, because one for each paper plate thing. So that's that, plus it needs the tough tool rod in this one, which instead of paper I will use netherrack again, and we've got a netherrack tough rod, and that's all the stuff for the handle of a hammer. Next item that we're going to be making is a kick-ass sword, and the sword, let me see, I need to check. I think it's a normal tool rod actually for the sword. I'm pretty sure about that. And I'm going to add cactus to it to make a cactus tool rod. Next we have a guard, and I'm going to be using a wide guard. Different guards produce different types of sword, but in this case I'm going to use a guard. And I'm going to add paper to it for an additional modifier, because we like modifiers, and I put it in the wrong slot. There we go. Probably goes in this one. There we go. So now we've got a paper wide guard. And that's all the handle stuff for our sword. So now we've done that side, the next step is to produce all of the heads of each of these items. Which means we need to go travelling over to our smeltery here. Now, in our smeltery, I've already pre-cooked some liquids. Manulian, which is 1 part ardite and 1 part cobalt. So I've got that in there. I've got 3 ingots worth, which is probably a bit too much. And we've got some cobalt in here. So with the Manulian on the bottom, I'll actually get started with the material that requires the Manulian. And that, wrong chest, is our sword blade. So I've got to take my sword blade cast and add it to our smeltery and pour the Manulian in. And that gets poured out, and we've got ourselves a Manulian sword blade. Manulian's really good for sword blades. I think if I've got the right book on me, which it is, Manulian has a base attack of 2 hearts every swing. So when I start modifying this up, this is going to be, as I promise you, it'll be a really kick-ass sword. You'll see when I start modifying this sword up. The next one that I'm going to make is a pickaxe, a straight pickaxe. And for the pickaxe, so even though I've got Manulian in the bottom, which is quite a nice item to make pickaxes from because they're very durable, but I don't think durability is that much that I'm going to worry about. So instead, I'm going to switch it for the cobalt. So if I click the liquid in here, it drops to the bottom. And now cobalt is a selected material. And by just using this here, our cobalt pickaxe head gets pulled out. And finally, the head for our hammer. So the hammer head, if you notice here, the material cost is 8, so it is going to use 8 of the material is cobalt, so it's going to use 8 ingots of our cobalt to make this hammer head. It's a lot, but it's worth it. And in just a moment, once that's pulled out, end up in the chest. Excellent. So let's start making some of these tools. And we'll just make the base tool and then we'll start modifying them afterwards. So coming over to our tool forge here, and let's start off with the hammer. So the hammer required our Netherrack tough rod, our 2 paper large plates, and a cobalt hammerhead. And that's going to give fire, oh, if I click it right, there we go, fire hammer. Like so. And hopefully I've named that correctly, yep. Next, I'm going to make our sword. I think this is the right sword, no it's not. This one, our broadsword. And for this we'll need our paper wide guard in here. Our cactus tool rod, the cactus adds like a spiky kind of filter which does a bit more damage. And our Manulian sword blade. So now we can see that, you know, because of the extra damage from the cactus tool rod, plus the 2 hearts damage from the Manulian, we've got a base attack now with 4 hearts, with 4 modifiers remaining. And yeah, with the ability jagged on it. And finally is our pick, which is here. A Netherrack tool rod binding, a paper binding to add an extra modifier, and a cobalt pickaxe head. Check out the mining speed here, it's 11 as I make this. Have I just called everything Firehammer? I have actually. I'll have to rename some of these, so let's call that Fire Pick, that's fine. And if I put this back in actually, I should be able to, oh, if I don't throw it on the floor, should be able to just rename this actually. Call it Fire Sword.
Too bad they don't have a whip then. You could have called it Fire Lash.
That's true. Or Fire Whip. You know what, it didn't work at this point, but I know that's not a problem because actually when I modify it then actually I'll get another opportunity to do all of this stuff. So let's modify that sword first, and if I remember correctly, in our shinies chest I've been busy and I've made quite a lot of nether quartz. And I will save some for the others. You're using those workbenches. Okay. Oh, I can do it in my personal one because it's only 4. Okay, and I'll convert half of this. There we go. So I'm going to make a really spiky sword. The others are probably going to have to go farming the nether, possibly. But I will help them do it. I won't be so mean as to let them farm the nether on their own. And if you look here, it's going to increase our our sword damage. If I put this in to 4.5 hearts, and I think now that I've done that, oh, it won't change the name anymore. No, my sword is going to be called Firehammer forever. I think you can double the speed of this by putting 2 lots in. And you can see that this is now 5 hearts of damage per hit. And a few more, now it's 5.5 hearts worth of damage. And just so that I'm saving some of the quartz for other people, once it hits 6, I will stop and allow other people to use the rest of the quartz before I obliterate our quartz. So as you can see here, there's still modifiers remaining. I can do 2 more modifiers plus add more quartz to it. But one of these modifiers I'm going to be using in a moment. So actually I've only got 1 more modifier plus our quartz, but that's fine. We're going to do that final modifier at the end. Mallinka, you're almost ready for all that stuff, aren't you?
It's been ready for a while now.
Is it? Oh, maybe we'll do it now then. So Mallinka, if you take us through what you've been doing and helping prepared for these tool upgrades.
Well, I've been making some machines so we can travel through time. If I have to believe Doc Brown.
Okay.
I've been preparing flux capacitors.
Left or right?
Left first, please.
Okay. Yep. And there's a zombie nearby.
These are from thermal expansion. Yeah, he's moaning at us. These are from thermal expansion, so if fire holds shift you can see that they work with red flux.
Yep.
Fire would do the honor and grab all 3 of them.
Sure.
Then place them in the middle of the next one.
Okay, well unfortunately
on the right side.
They don't stack, so do you want me to just craft them into the hardened ones?
Yes please.
Okay.
It's basically the same sequence as in every thermal expansion craft. You go from lead to hardened to last step, redstone flux. Let me prepare that one please.
Yep. Oh well.
There you go.
Okay. So these are electrum ingots on either side and some diamonds, but nice. Redstone flux. These carry a lot more charge. This is going to be cool. I'm going to have to go around and...
In the end actually, getting this up to tier 3 is cheaper than I expected.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Right, so don't kill that zombie, because I'm going to.
As long as he's in the shade he should be fine.
So I'm going to take this sword and add our redstone flux capacitor to it, and now one of those modifiers will be flux. And back here, and I'll have to only do a little bit of this, but if I charge it in our energetic infuser which we made last episode, just check NEI for how to make it, it's pretty simple. Okay, this has probably got enough power to take care of that zombie, I hope. Although it might be dead now.
Yeah, it's got more than enough.
Okay. Let's give it a go. It will, instead of its durability for like the weapon durability, instead it's now going to use this. Oh look, hello zombie. Take it in the face. 2 hits on an angry zombie. That's pretty nice.
Mallinka, I've got a gem sword. I usually need to hit him about 8 times or so.
Mallinka, I know you've got armor on, but how many hearts?
Ouch. 1.
1. But that's with bronze armor. That's pretty. That's like diamond armor.
That's full armor.
Yeah. But I'll leave that charging. Okay, next I'm going to show the power of some more tools. And not mortals, I mean like more tools. The power of the mortal.
It was the nether quartz that gave it sharpness, right?
Yes, that's right. So just make sure you save at least 1 modifier for the flux capacitor. Otherwise you'll
So you've got 1 enchantment being the nether quartz, 1 being the flux. Which is the 3rd then?
Nether quartz.
No, that's 1.
Yeah.
Nether quartz 1, flux
Yeah.
2nd, and then...
And then nether quartz. You can double that.
You're crazy.
Right. So speaking of crazy, right, we have a hammer here with a modifier ability of 5 modifiers that can be put on this hammer. And our first modifier will be our redstone flux. And now it gives it like this crazy drill on the front of it. It's awesome. And then the rest of it we'll put in as redstone for pretty much the rest of this thing, and I'm going to use up all the modifiers, so it might take me a little while to put this through, and I might even have to go and get more redstone, but I'm going to, as quickly as I can, put as much redstone as possible on this thing. So we're up to 100. Going up to 150. And have we still got modifiers?
Not keeping a spot open for luck?
No. Not for a hammer. No.
Good point, not for a hammer.
So, the idea of this... There we go, that's all done now. It's to basically drill through the earth really, really fast when we need to clear out areas of the floor. The mining speed of this hammer is 21. Compare that to my old pick, which had a mining speed of 21 as well. You can see that it's pretty powerful. If I go through here and take this energetic infuser, take my fire hammer out, which is doing well, I'm just going to give some more power to this. And while that one's charging a little bit, let's do our final pick here. We'll add some redstone to it. Oh no, let's do the flux first so I don't mess that up. I don't think we've got enough lapis to show the lapis on here, do we?
We've got 2.5 stack, I think. Let me check. We indeed do 2 stacks and 19.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure that I leave one modifier remaining on this, so... If I can take this up to 100, 90... And I think this last one does the 100, leaving the repair, the last one available for...
That's one to... Oh.
No, it's not.
Weird, it showed like 110 on my screen.
Yes, because that's what would happen if I added more to it. Basically, is what it's saying.
Ah, yes, of course.
So I can actually add even more modifiers to these, remember, by either adding a nether star to it or adding golden block and diamond or something, if I can remember correctly. So yeah, they can get even more powerful. So now if I swap this hammer out for the pick... Oh, you know what? I forgot to show the speed of the pick. Let me just grab it again. They're super multicoloured, these tools, though. Just to say. So this is a mining speed of 19. So it's not quite as fast as the other one, but there is like on these tools a reduced kind of use of them over time. If you know what I mean, like the benefit, you start running low on the benefits. There's a word for it. I'm just losing my mind over what the correct word is to describe it. When something has diminishing returns. That's the baby I'm looking for. Yeah, there's diminishing returns on mining speed. But I'm going to show it mining in action. So let's find a piece here. Look, that's not mined up. So here we go. That is a hammer going nuts, mining through the earth. This is faster than any regular pick, but it's doing it in a 3x3 tunnel. I mean, it's not...
jump so fast. I wanted to see it.
I'm in the mines.
Oh wow, that's fast.
Yeah, unfortunately I actually left the pick upstairs charging, so yay for me. But I'll show you this. I mean, the other pick, let's face it, it's just a pick and isn't as fast as this one is. So here's a good spot.
That's insane.
Yeah, so now when we go mining, we can do it at speed. So I recommend that everyone, bearing in mind that these don't break, they run out of power.
How much power did you use for each hit? That's actually a good test for a second.
Oh, I forgot. It does say somewhere when you're adding the stuff onto it. But I can try and do a quick test. That's a valid test. So at the moment we've got 79,242 power. And now we've got 77,478. So we're looking at around 2,000 power per hit. And it stores...
It can take about 400,000.
400,000, yeah.
So that's 200 hits.
Yeah, and bear in mind this
And
tool is not really
it
designed for
removes
mining. It's I've got it made to design to clear out areas. You know, when we need to clear a basement or something of a building. That's what I've.
So basically you could add multiple flux capacitors to it to increase the amount of power it holds.
I don't know if you can do that, but I think you can upgrade the flux capacitor on it to be the highest one, the resonant flux. Does that make sense? Because you can only have one capacitor.
You probably have to put it back into crafting, add the other flux capacitor, and it might upgrade it.
Yeah, I
like
don't
that.
know if you can upgrade it once you've made it on the capacitor side, but you know, if I need to make a brand new tool again, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And I guess I can quickly show this other pick while I recharge this one. And I can just show it on the walls here because it's going to be instant, basically. Which it is. It's just a basic instant smash through on this stuff. It's pretty exciting to have ridiculous tools like this. Yeah, it will help mining. I can take the hammer down if I need to make like the broad corridors. I think Demon Reaper's been down here rewiring this to make it a little easier, aren't you?
Yep,
I
starting to
am.
look neater.
Yeah, it does look a lot neater now.
I also added another second furnace so we can auto smelt sludge.
Oh, excellent. Cool. Yeah, last time we were kind of doing it in a bit of a hurry, but through this episode, Demon's been rewiring this without any stresses, and it looks way cleaner and more understandable now. So yeah, cool. And I imagine we can now hide this under the floor.
Yes, we can.
Shall we even give the demon the time to get out of there, or shall we just put it in the floor?
He'll still be down there in next week when we come back to record. Okay. Is anything else that you want to do quickly on this episode, Mallinka? Well, we've probably got maybe 5 minutes.
5 minutes. No. There's nothing I've got going that can be done that fast, I think.
No? Well, we did promise that we'd show what this other machine did, the sawmill. So I'm going to do that.
Oh, that can be done.
So it's pretty simple, actually. You chuck wooden, basic wood in here like this, and where's it going?
Right here, chest. Should end up in the chest at least.
Which chest? This one.
There's only one chest here.
It's kind of just disappearing.
What the hell? That shouldn't happen. There's nothing.
Oh,
Nowhere
here
else
it
can
comes.
go.
There it goes. I don't know why it got delayed. Maybe it was just working its way out through it all, but there's a
As you can
spider.
see, I'm also increasing our sand supply. We were running a bit low, so I'm just destroying some cobble.
So basically what that sawmill does is normally, one wooden log turns into 4 planks. This now turns into 6 planks and sawdust. And sawdust, you can, I could probably do it in this furnace now that we've got furnaces set up. If I place the sawdust in the furnace, and I'm just going to turn off the output for a second.
Don't forget to first compress it.
Oh, okay. I wondered why that wasn't working. How'd you compress it? But by 9?
Circle.
A circle. Means a proper crafting bench then. There we go. So yeah, compressed sawdust. Drop it in the furnace. And say I've just disabled the output for a second so you can see what it makes. And that makes 1 charcoal. So I know a lot of people will turn wood into charcoal as a power source, but actually you can keep some of the wood now and not feel so bad because you can just use the sawdust instead. So that's pretty much the use of the sawmill. Anything else that was new out of this that we made? I think that's it really. Cool.
The infuser was new, the sawmill was new. That's it.
Yeah, and we've shown how to use both of those. Yeah, let me know what you think of the the setup of the swords and the hammers and all of that, I think they're pretty awesome. They're going to be a lot of fun to be wielding in the future, as long as I don't drop them in lava, which would be devastating. But typically Fire Lash...
Which has happened to you quite often.
Yeah, it's typical for me to do exactly that. But, you know, I'll try and look after them, I'll be good. Maybe I should walk around with a hazmat suit instead of formic robes.
Well, there's a reason why I usually try to push him into model power suits as soon as possible. It increases Fire's survivability by about 1000%.
I'm taking out this creeper
Whoa.
in 2 hits. I was hoping to do it in 1 actually. But I still got modifiers to play around with to make this extra spiky.
You've got 2 more Manulian in here and lots of cobalt.
Yeah, that's for you guys, so you can make exactly the same as me.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, a comment, and if you've not done so already, subscribe to the channel. Really hope you've enjoyed this. So from me, Fireweaver, Mallinka and Demon Reaper, who's been busy tidying. See you next time.
Oh wow. See you next time.
Bye.
This looks good.
Bye bye.